Hi, I'm Dick Koch. I want to show you on this video how I go about making this bowl. It's a segmented bowl made of yellowheart and walnut. I made it along with this lid for the beads of courage, and the lid fits on like this, but I'm not going to cover making this. This is basically, once you've learned to make this, the lid is fairly simple to make. But we're just going to talk about the bowl on this video. I'll cover everything except for cutting the boards into strips of wood that can be segmented. I'll show you how to cut them for segments, but ripping the boards into narrow pieces you just do on table saw, and or bandsaw you could use, I guess. Also, I use table saw, but I'll cover everything else, including the cutting of the segments, the assembly of rings, assembling the rings into a rough bowl shape, turning it, and the finishing operations. So we'll also talk about, and I'll show you how I calculate the dimensions for the bowl on a computer. So let's get started. As I mentioned, I use a program called WoodTurner Pro to lay out the rings necessary and to do the calculations for me. This is the lid for the bowl, and we're not going to talk about that during the construction. This is a base, in this case a solid walnut ring base, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellowheart rings, and then a segmented walnut cap on the bowl. It's a pretty simple bowl to make, but it looks nice, and people say it has a nice shape. The WoodTurner Pro program generates a cutting summary after you decide on the shape and size. From each ring, here's the base ring down here, which says disc walnut, 1/2 inch thick, 3 inches in outside diameter, and goes right on up to the top ring of the bowl, which is row number 7, flat walnut, 12 segments, 1/2 inch diameter, and all the other dimensions are given here. Cutting angle is over here at 15 degrees for all of the segments on this, because we're using 12 segments per piece. And the program gives you the board length that you need, the width of the board, the width of each, or the length of each segment that you have, and these are the diameters that the segments, the rings will turn out to be. 6 inches OD and 4 1/4 ID in this particular case, and that varies up and down here. So this is a kind of a cutting summary that we develop, and from this I go into cutting the wood. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 12 segments out of this piece of wood, and since it's a little noisy when I do that, I put on hearing protection, and it'll be rather noisy on the screen.
And what are you using there to cut it with?
Stop block here preset that every segment comes out the same length, and it just comes out perfectly. You don't have to do any more measures. Clamp your wood, and so it holds in tight while you're cutting. Keep your hands away from everything. blade stops right. Design has 12 segments per ring, so we're going to make 12 segments. Then, because these have little things sticking out sometimes, you know, I go over to the sander and I just quickly sand both surfaces down. You'll see that.
Which sander is that you use?
That's the disc sander, right over here behind you.
Do you use a mask when you do that?
No, it doesn't. It sucks up the stuff just fine. Just a light touch. Clean that up, that surface up, and make it just perfect.
Collects the dust really well, that filter. What is this?
So this is a glue up here of the waste. The white is waste blocks, just plain old poplar, and then we have for this project we have 3-inch walnut discs that are going to be the bottom of our bowls, and solid. And after we turn it, then it'll be turned off so that the only thing left is part of the walnut will show. We put the segments in a circle here. Make sure that they all come together okay. Stick a rubber band around it, and then I can check them. We want to make sure that when everything's all lined up, that the joints look pretty good. For some reason, these seem to be a little bit off. So we have a remedy for that too. Tape down to hold these in place while we glue them. Sure it's long enough. Stick these down on the tape right along the edge.